All right, so now we're on radius, diameter, and central angles. We're still in circles, but we're doing 3 parts today. So part 1 is finding radius and diameter when you're given the circumference. So let's look here at example number 1. So for number 1, they tell you the circumference, which is the length of the outside of the circle. The circumference is 94.2 feet. And using this, we have to find out what the diameter and the radius is. So if they give you the circumference, start off with what you know about the circumference formula. And that is C equals 2 pi r. So now with this formula, you're going to fill in what you know. 2 is just a number. Pi, we know that we should be saying that pi equals 3.14 to get the answers that I'll be looking for. All right, and we know our C. What was your circumference? 94.2. So plug in 94.2 instead of C. 2 is a 2. Pi is just pi. And r, do we know our radius yet? No. So leave the r there. Now let's start getting this r by itself. All right, so the first thing you should do to both sides is divide by 2. When you do that, these 2's cancel. You need your calculator. So 94.2 divided by 2 is 47.1. So this becomes 47.1, and this still has a pi and an r. All right, so my r still isn't by itself. To finally and completely get the r by itself, you should divide both sides by pi. But remember what number we're dividing by over here? We're still dividing by pi, but instead of plugging in the pi number, we'll be plugging in 3.14. You're still dividing by pi on both sides, so. So these pi's cancel. Bring your calculator back out. Divide 47 by 3.14. You get 15. All right, so this is good. R stands for radius. So your radius was 15 and the units they used was feet. And the diameter is whatever your radius is times 2. So 15 times 2 is 30. All right, let's do one more together. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. All right, so they didn't give you the circle. You still have to find the diameter and the radius, but it's the same steps, right? What's your circumference formula? C equals 2 pi r. Instead of circumference, you're plugging in what they gave you, which is 79.128 equals 2 pi r. You should always, always, always start by rewriting the formula. All right, to get this r by itself, same first step. Divide both sides by 2. Here, your 2's cancel. You have pi r is equal to 79.128 divided by 2, 39.564. Now, finally, to get the r by itself, you divide both sides by the pi. But in your calculator, you're putting 3.14. And you get r equals 12.6. So you use this 12.6, right? And that is your radius. Your radius is 12.6 feet. If you want to figure out the diameter, you take your 12.6 and you multiply by 2. You get 25.2. And we're using feet. All right, down here is example number 3. I would like you guys to pause the video, try the problem on your own. Pause it. Okay. This is what you should have gotten. Radius is 57, diameter 114. All right, next part. So now we're still going to be finding your radius and your diameter, but this time you're going to be given the area. So your area is all the inside space of a circle. So it's all of this. It's not the outside. It's everything inside, all of the space, right? So now we're going to start off with our area formula because they gave us area. Our area formula is A equals pi r squared. All right, pi 3.14 r squared. We don't know what the radius is, right? So you have to find it. But we do know our area. Area was 78.5. Pi stays the same. Instead of r squared, well, we have to leave r squared, I'm sorry. All right, what do we do first to get r by itself? We have to get rid of this pi. This pi is being attached by multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So you divide by pi on both sides, but remember when you're plugging it into your calculator, you should be using 3.14. 78.5 divided by 3.14, and you get 25. So when you divide by 3.14 on both sides, you get 25 over here. These pi's cancel, and you're left with r squared. Now you have to think, is r by itself? No, this is a little exponent. How do you get rid of a square or an exponent of 2? Square root both sides. When you do that, you get 5 on the left side, and the square root and the square, they cancel out. You get r. Now, using this, I can say radius is equal to 5, right? R equals 5 feet. And diameter is whatever the radius is times 2. Not too bad. Kind of the same thing as part 1, just a different formula and a different last step. All right, now same thing. You're given the area. Pull out that area formula. Instead of writing area, we use what they gave us, and it's this kind of long number, but not really. 1,424.5866. And it still equals pi r squared. All I did was replace area with what they gave us. Same first step. Trying to get this r by itself, pi times r, opposite of times, would be dividing by pi, or 3.14 on both sides. These pi's cancel. Get that calculator out. 1,424.5866 divided by 3.14. We get a bit of a smaller number. All right, and now to get this by itself, we have this exponent of 2, or the square, so you have to square root both sides. So on my calculator, I would press second and then that. And I'm typing in 453.69. And this time we got a decimal. 21.3 equals r. R is by itself. I can now write my answers out. Radius equals 21.3 meters. Diameter is equal to whatever that is times 2, which is 42.6. Cool stuff. All right, now you're gonna try number 6 on your own. Steps are right up there. Just pause the video. Okay. Here's your answer. Hope it wasn't too difficult. All right, we're on to the last part of today's lesson. Ugh, this is a lot of notes. You might want to pause. You do have to get these examples down. I'm less concerned about this. I would like if it was in your notes, but you do need that, and that, and that, and that, and that. All right, so finding arc measures when you're given central angles. So the arc measures, they're measured in degrees, but they're these little parts of the outside, right? And you're given a central angle. So the cool thing about central angles is it's the angle that starts on the center of the edge of the circle and it goes to the edge of the circle. But if this is 122 degrees right in here, then arc ST is also 122 degrees. So whatever the central angle is, the arc is going to have the exact same measure. And make sure you remember that. Maybe write a note down. That question does come up in your assignment on Canvas. All right, this was 122 degrees. Let's fill in the rest of the circle. So let's look over here. Talking about vertical angles, there are no vertical angles here, right? Vertical angles are opposite angles on an X shape, intersecting lines. And they're also congruent. So if this is 50, this is 50. We don't have that here. There is no X shape. There are no vertical angles. But angles on the same line add up to 180 because they're a linear pair. So that means that if this is 122, if I want to figure out what this one is, I'm doing 180 minus 122. Get your calculator out. 180 minus 122, 58 degrees. Now, what is this part? You should all realize this right away. 180, right? A couple of things you can do to figure that out. It's just a straight line, which means it's 180 degrees. Or if you did 360 minus 58 minus 122, you get 180 because the angles in a circle add up to 360. Cool. All right, S to T. They want the arc from S to T. So from S to T is 122 degrees. R to S, that's this little one right here, 58 degrees. Now they want SRT. That's a major angle, right? A major arc, I'm sorry, because there's 3 letters. So start at S, go to R, then to T. So they're looking for S to R to T. They're looking for this one. What numbers am I adding up? 58 plus 180. And that's 238. Do we see how it starts here? It goes past 58 degrees and then it goes past 180 more. That means you have to add up those 2 numbers to figure out what this major arc was. All right, now let's look at number 2. A couple more questions, same deal. Let's start off by filling this in. So this is 21, which means that down here is 21. Why? Because they're vertical angles and they're congruent when they're vertical angles, right? So these 2 were vertical angles. Now, if I want to figure out what this is right here, look at this straight line. That makes these 2 a linear pair. So I would just do 180 minus 21. 180 minus 21 is 159. And then because these are vertical angles, you see how they're on the opposite side of an X? That means that this is 159. All right. Filling out your circle makes these questions way easier. First one, J to K. J to K. 21. Measure of angle JCM. 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 JCM 159. K to L. This is an arc from K to L. That's again 159. This is a major arc, right? Because there's 3 letters. JKM, JKM. What am I adding up? We started at J, went to K, so that's So we started at J, went to K. I passed 21. Then I have to go all the way to M. I have to pass this, which is another 159. So J to K, and then I'm not at M yet until I pass another 21. And I get 201 degrees. Lastly, MKL, another major angle. M to K to L. So MKL. I'm passing 159, 21, and 159. So 159 plus 21 plus 159 is 339. And if you're wondering, yes, you could have just done 360 minus 21. Same answer. Last problem. This is a really long video today, so kind of sorry. Not really. All right, we were given these two angles. What kind of angles are these? Think for a second. Vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent. So we're going to take these two and we're going to set them to be equal. All right. There's no like terms to combine on both sides. So I just need to start moving things. I'm going to start off by adding 22 to both sides. Perfect. Now I'm going to move this 8x over. And my last step would be to divide by 2. I answered my first question, 17. Now if I want to figure out what these were, what should I go back and do with this x? This is an 8x plus 12. So instead of doing 8x plus 12, I can do 8 times 17 plus 12. And I get 148. If this is 148, that means that this is also 148 because they're vertical angles and they're going to be equal, right? We just did that. Now, this plus this would equal 180. So 180 minus 148 is 32. And because these are vertical angles, 32. Let's start answering some questions. All right, A to D. Just from A to D is 148. A to B. A to B, 32. Major arc, DBC, go to D, to B, to C. So start at D, go all the way to B, and then end at C. So that's 148 plus 32 plus 148. And you get 328. Okay. Now we're going to finish off with some practice problems. Yes, you need to copy them down. Yes, this is the last thing we're going to do today. And yes, you're going to get the answers. So please pause the video. All right. There's your answers. All right, I will see you guys next time.